the war. Palestinians from having the bare minimum of their right to movement and access between cities. And since today's or yesterday's attack started, the Israeli forces have started shutting down certain checkpoints. Of course, we should say that people are already worried, already trying to stay in their homes as much as possible. Schools have been postponed until assessment later in the week, but still there are some people who are stuck in certain cities who want to go home or want to take care of their businesses or even go to hospitals, and they remain at the mercy of the Israeli soldiers who control their basic rights, the very bare minimum of their ability to move from one place to another.
Nida Ibrahim there, live from Ramallah. Iran has launched strikes on US assets across the region. Iranian drones have struck several residential buildings in Bahrain's capital. It's not yet known if there are casualties. And this was a scene earlier in the day when a missile hit Bahrain's capital, Manama. Authorities say the strike targeted the service center for the US 5th Fleet headquarters. And Kuwait's international airport was damaged in an Iranian drone attack. Authorities say a number of employees have been injured as a result. Kuwaiti officials say the situation's under control. And these are the scenes from the UAE. Iran has struck a Jebel Ali port in Dubai. While the port's not a formal military base, it is the busiest port in the Middle East and one of the most frequently used overseas ports of call for the US Navy, regularly hosting US aircraft carriers and other vessels. And in a separate incident, 4 people were injured after a ballistic missile attack on Dubai International Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world. The UAE government also denounced the strike, calling it a blatant attack involving Iranian ballistic missiles. Similar attacks were reported at other commercial airports in the region, including Kuwait International Airport, forcing closures and widespread flight cancellations. And there have been reports of an Iranian drone strike targeting Burj Al Arab in Dubai. Authorities confirmed the drone was intercepted and debris caused a minor fire on the hotel's iconic outer facade. No injuries have been reported. And the Qatari Defense Ministry says it's intercepted 63 missiles and 12 drones fired towards its territory. Officials say the attacks resulted in at least 8 injuries. 1 person is believed to be critically injured. 2 ballistic missiles reached the Al Udeid airbase, operated by US forces and home to the US Central Command. Qatar's foreign ministry says it has summoned the Iranian ambassador. Ibrahim Sultan Al-Hashmi is the Director of Media and Communications in Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He says Qatar reserves the right to respond to the attacks.
In the name of God the Merciful, the state of Qatar condemns in the strongest possible terms these ballistic missile attacks and considers this operation as a blatant violation of its sovereignty and the safety of its territories, and also a grave escalation that threatens the stability of the whole region. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has already affirmed in an official statement that it reserves its full right to respond in accordance with international law and with the Charter of the United Nations in proportion to the size of the attacks, in order to protect its sovereignty and to protect its higher interests.
Now let's cross over to Axel Zamovich, who is live here in Doha. Axel, the missile defense system that Qatar put a lot of trust and a lot of money into has been working, but some things have got through, right?
Well, that's correct. It's according to official data, official statement coming from Qatar's defense ministry, where they said that 2 missiles managed to penetrate Qatar's air defense and target Al Udeid military base here in Doha. So the reason why, we don't know that, but when we know that the Patriot system is being deployed and during the day, especially in the morning and afternoon, when these attacks came in several waves. But what we also know that there's been a falling debris across the country, and what we understand that 8 people have been injured in these falling debris for now. So we don't know at what stages. We actually have a confirmation that 4 people have been released, discharged from hospitals, but also 4 people are still getting proper medical treatment. But it is really important to mention that also one of the missiles targeted a radar system in Doha. To what damage, to what kind of damage sustained in that attack, we're still waiting for clarification from Qatari officials here in Doha.
Now, Axel, there's been attacks across the region as well against iconic buildings in Dubai as well. So talk us through what happened in the GCC generally.
Yeah, throughout the day, we've seen a large number of attacks, and also coming in several waves. In Kuwait, for example, we've seen that the airport, the international airport in Kuwait, has been targeted and damaged. And of course, there's a lot of videos showing that parts of the international airport in Dubai has been damaged. Iconic buildings, which Al hotel has been affected in these Iranian targets. But the major question here is, like, is it what is the reason why these buildings are being targeted? Because we initially get reports that only the U.S. Military targets will be the major point of targets for Iranian missiles and drones. So we will still have to wait for a confirmation and see the reason why these iconic buildings across the region are being affected in the latest waves of attacks.
The whole world of mining with just a tap on your phone? Go Mining is your way.
Iran is split along party lines. Nearly all Republicans call the airstrikes long overdue and justified, while Democrats say the strikes violate the U.S. Constitution. Al Jazeera's Rosalind Jordan reports.
The Trump administration attacked Iran on Saturday in the middle of ongoing negotiations over Iran's nuclear ambitions and without full consultations with all members of the U.S. Congress beforehand. Nearly all Republicans cheered on President Donald Trump's decision as key to protecting national security. Senate Majority Leader John Thune: "I commend President Trump for taking action." House Speaker Mike Johnson: "Iran is facing the severe consequences of its evil actions." House Intelligence Committee Chair Rick Crawford:
"Off-ramps will likely give the U.S. the ability to have less boots on the ground, which I love. The less boots on the ground, the better, but you got to train whoever takes the place. So if there's some normal army generals, likely that's who's going to play ball more with Mossad and the CIA is going to be these army generals that are seeing all their friends go bye-bye, all the IRGCs going bye-bye. They see that happening, and they're likely going to make some deals if they're smart. I mean, if they have 2 brain cells, they're going to make some deals. So that's what I would expect to see. And again, focused on the normal army generals and a lot of trusted sources that I have from Iran, special, I guess, what would you call them? I would say that they're trusted agents of mine that I go to for advice on this Iranian situation. A lot of them are telling me that a lot of the deals will likely be made with the top level army generals if they're willing to play ball. If they're radicalized as well at this point, if they can't see the writing on the wall, then okay, good luck. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has posted on Instagram and on X saying that the Department of War is executing these strikes and will continue until it's no longer needed. So again, this isn't an easy off-ramp. So I just want to put everybody's mind at ease who's out there complaining about the deals being made. You're legit. Like you are seen and you are heard that you can't make deals with the mafia and you can't make deals with terrorists. But if some of these people have been under the gun with a revolver to their head from the Ayatollah, maybe you do bring them in and they help the transition. Here we go. American Screaming Eagle. I bet with this strike, then maybe World War III around the corner. Well, I will caution you on that. I don't think World War III, and here's why. The world will be better off without Iran. Everybody knows that. The Gulf states know it. Even here's a subtlety. Even China and Russia, I think behind the scenes, they signed off on this. Not that they had to approve it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they approved it. I'm saying that there were deals made where China is going to get even more oil now. So China will likely get double the oil because, again, American companies will roll in, European companies will roll in and help the situation of those oil companies. They were just a personal slot machine of the Ayatollah and Pezeshkian, the president of Iran. Let's just call a spade a spade. Okay, people want to complain about U.S. oil companies rolling in. Well, how about oil companies being the slot machine for a radical cleric? That's what those oil companies were, if we're just being honest. But again, this is uniting the world at this point. We're seeing around the